Yeah, with Christy Paul, I'm Jay Crawford. Lena Lai is off tonight. Leading up to tonight's debut of the Nutcracker from the Cleveland Ballet, another member of their leadership has stepped down.
Yeah, in a 3 News Investigates report, Stephanie Haney looks into the dark side of dance in Cleveland.
In the middle of an investigation into body size discrimination, toxic workplace behavior, and plagiarism, another member of Cleveland Ballet leadership has stepped down. Cynthia Graham has resigned as interim artistic director, a role she held for 3 weeks following the suspension of co-founder Gladisa Guadalupe and the eventual resignation of Guadalupe's husband, former president and CEO Michael Krasnyansky. While the Cleveland Ballet Board did not respond to 3 News Investigates' question about why Graham resigned, a person familiar with Cleveland Ballet operations and a person who has danced for Cleveland Ballet, both of whom asked to remain anonymous out of fear of retaliation, told 3 News that Graham, in her longtime role as director of repertoire, would consistently videotape dancers to shame them out of leaving the dance rehearsal space even to use the bathroom, have condescending and insulting outbursts in the studios, and single out individual dancers with repeated and escalating beratement over mistakes while rehearsing. They said she was part of a system of bullying and intimidation led by Guadalupe and Krasnyansky, where staff had no one to report to because of family and a longtime friend holding HR positions. Graham is also accused of being complicit with Guadalupe in plagiarizing portions of the Nutcracker.
The Nutcracker, first of all, it came from a book. And late 1800s, they developed it into a ballet. So what we have to do is discern, like you said, what's in the public domain and what isn't.
When choreographers put their own spin on the traditional Nutcracker ballet, they own the changes they make to dance steps, storyline, and staging, and copying those choices without permission is illegal.
Now, George Balanchine, he came up with his first choreographed routine was the Nutcracker and was awarded a copyright based upon his differences from the original work.
Both Guadalupe and Graham are accused of plagiarizing the lead Nutcracker roles that they danced for the previous version of the Cleveland Ballet in the 1980s, as it was originally choreographed by its then artistic director, Dennis Nahat.
Dennis, not the choreographer, Dennis, the person, makes things easier, and you learn faster.
Go for it. Go for heaven.
Who has registered ownership of those ballets with the United States Copyright Office.
When I left Cleveland, my original contract written, or an agreement written years ago, years before I left, specified that I owned my work from the beginning of time to the present till the end of time. And that if I were to leave the company for any reason in the future, my ballets would, of course, go with me.
When 3 News learned of these allegations dating back years, we reached out to Nahat and showed him this video that 3 News obtained of a 2021 Cleveland Ballet performance of the Nutcracker, which has since been removed from the company's Vimeo page, where the lead role is performed by Guadalupe's daughter, Marla Aleda, to see if Nahat recognized the choreography as his own.
It's on the tape that you sent me, that variation with those very steps. And the idea, you know, and again, the basic choice of props and staging and design of the work and how her attitude is, and yeah.
Aleda, who is also dancing the lead Nutcracker role this season for the Cleveland Ballet, posted this video from the 1980s of Guadalupe dancing what she is accused of plagiarizing.
One of the newest members of Cleveland Ballet, Gladisa possesses a true 19th century ballerina style, one that is rare in today's 20th century.
Which we also showed to Nahat to compare to the 2021 Cleveland Ballet Nutcracker video.
And this dance is directly out of my Nutcracker, which she danced many times. I'm flattered, but I'm saddened because I wasn't asked. You must pay artists and or have an agreement with them.
Cleveland Ballet's board declined our offer to view the performances side by side, citing lack of expertise and telling 3 News, in part, "It is my understanding that whether one work could be considered plagiarized from another is a complex issue requiring real expertise in choreography, and that some similarities don't necessarily constitute plagiarism. Ms. Guadalupe and Ms. Graham adamantly insist there is no plagiarism. Someone who has danced for Cleveland Ballet told 3 News that prior to our investigation, these allegedly plagiarized portions were still being rehearsed for the company's scheduled December Nutcracker performances at Playhouse Square. And after our investigation launched, Graham changed some of the allegedly plagiarized choreography, but not all of it. Cleveland Ballet's director of rehearsals, Timur Bordasenkov, is now responsible for what audiences will see on stage during the Nutcracker's run at Playhouse Square. Co-founder Gladisa Guadalupe remains suspended at this time. The Cleveland Ballet Board didn't respond to my questions about when they expect to conclude their investigations and if they will make their findings public.